Hey Jose, here's sort of like how you can make chords sound more indie. I mean, the word indie doesn't really mean much, like in terms of describing what music sounds like, because all it means is independent. And like, there's lots of different types of indie bands, but I think kind of what you wanted to know more was how to make chords sound more kind of like poppy in a way. So here's the best example I could come up with. This is a song I wrote a long time ago. I'm not going to sing it, I'm just going to play the chords. It went. So I started out with open chords actually, because a lot of times when I write songs or come up with ideas, I start with open chords or bar chords, and then I sort of take pieces from those. Just because it's easier to like sing and get an overall feel, and then you can strip stuff down into smaller pieces. So minor, D minor, and then G7, and then C, A minor, D minor, then it goes into this kind of weird section. But actually the weird section I came up with not with open chords. So like I wrote the song, this idea with these basic open chords. Now that's what I do a lot. You just start out really simple, and then I wanted to give it more of kind of like that tight chord sound. So then instead of playing C major like this, I played C major like this. This is 5/5, and that's just, this is the root, and this is the major third. So instead of going, there we go. And then for A minor, instead of, I do just these two notes, A and C, which is the 1 and the flat 3. So this is a minor shape on the G and the B string, and this is a major shape. This note is C, that's why this is C major. This note's A, that's why it's A minor. Because this is the flat 3 and this is the root. The next chord I went to is D minor. So instead of, I don't really like this shape. I could have done it like that, but I wanted to stay on these two strings, so I went up to this D minor. That's 7/6. And then I needed a G, so here's a G chord. This is actually a little different. This is a part of this shape. I just liked how it sounded though. So this is a little different, because this kind of looks like a minor shape, but it's actually, this is B and D. But that's because the root note is right here. So really what I was thinking about more is this. See, it's a piece of G major. But I knew I needed C, A minor, D minor, G. Instead of G7, I just went with the two notes from the G chord. Just those two, which is the 3rd and the 5th. So instead of this, I ended up playing it like this. And then I added in this note, just. Then the next part is the same thing, but like cut time, so each chord only half as long. So then it went. And then after that, I kind of got like inspired, because these kind of chords are a little like not that inspiring. Open chords, I mean, after you've been playing for more than like a year, unless you're doing picking. Because then you have more variation, but I find this to be kind of uninspiring, unless you're doing a lot of other stuff in your song. Whereas these kind of are more fun, so I'll play it and then I'll show what I came up with after that, because I wanted like a really weird transition into, I had another idea for a song that sometimes you come up with lots of song ideas and you want to combine them together, and the other idea I had was in the key of A major, like something like that. Maybe if I want, maybe at some point I'll actually do recording the song, but so I knew where I wanted to get. I wanted to get to this A major so I could combine these song ideas. But this key was C major, so somehow I needed to get to the key of A major. So one trick you can do is like segue to a chord that kind of would fit well with the key you're going to. So in this case, I like this trick. I like the sound of this, like see if you can hear the sound. What I did was the 1, 4, 5s in the key of A, and then I did the 4 chord into a minor. For some reason I always just really like that. So I knew I wanted to get to D minor, which is kind of nice because that was one of the chords I was doing. So I was like, alright, so I'm down here, and then I need to get somehow up to D minor. And I like music that has little quirks in it. It's a little weird, so what I ended up doing, I'll just play it and I'll explain it. So I'll play the whole thing again. I had and then the weird part was kind of blew it. Let me do it again. And then that segued nice to I made it work, so it transitioned to the next part. So what I did right there was a little weird, but notice like what I'm saying is you start out simple, but then I use these tiny chords to build this transition. This transition was E major, A minor, A major, B minor, B major, D major, D minor. So like that combo of chords is pretty strange, but what it does is it kind of like destabilizes your ear, and it doesn't sound horrible. It just sounds kind of quirky, like it's building up in this weird way, and then it resolves into A major. So anyways, that's kind of beyond what I planned on talking about for this. I just wanted to show how you could take basic chord shapes and make them small. But I think it's kind of interesting because making transitions is one of the hardest things I find when you're writing a song. And a lot of times what happens when you're writing a song, you have lots of parts. You have to put them together, and that usually takes the longest amount of time. So one last time, I'll play it with all open chords. So then what I did after I figured that out with the small shapes, I ended up figuring out what the open chords were so that I could play with open chords too. So I'll play the whole thing with open chords and then these small chords so you can see it. So it goes. So C, A minor, D minor, E, E major, A minor. Has this little transition right there into that. So that would be with open chords, but then with the small shapes to make it more of that indie sort of small chord sound. If we C, A minor, D minor, G. like fast, so I'm messing up a little bit just because I'm not used to doing it. I haven't played this for a while, but so anyways, just try that. Take like simple chords, like start out really simple, like C. Try like singing over it. So that was C, G, A minor, E. I really like E major when you throw it into the key of C. I think it sounds good. And then once you do that, then you figure out these smaller shapes. So it could be like, you could do a G up here. Whoops. And I went to A minor. You could do it maybe. That's a real minor shape. So maybe I'll do C. G is actually like that. A. E. I don't like that E there. I mean, I like that for E. So C. I also like giving it like a pulsy sound, like. Oh, then we need a G. So C, G. I don't like that G. I like this higher one. A minor. And then if you want, you can start adding higher notes like those. That sounds a little too strong, maybe. I don't like it with the 3 notes actually. I like the 2 notes. And it's kind of nice to just toggle notes. Like I don't have any good reason to do this. It's just. Or you can do kind of a picky thing, like. Maybe like. And then if you start doing some distortion or effects, you can get cooler stuff. So the real challenge for all the stuff I'm showing, I guess, would be like learning how to translate like C into like lots of little shapes. Like, how do you do that? Like, how do I know where all these are? Well, the big thing I'm doing, I'm just imagining bar chords. So here's like top of it, next notes, or you just take time to really learn the fretboard, like learn your bar chords, and learn how to strip notes out. Or you can do 2-note things. Those tend to sound sadder though. Like these 2-note chords, like. Those tend to sound sad, I think, for some reason. Whereas these, if you do it fast, especially with a lot of down picks. The other thing you can do is just take little shapes and just move them around and not think about what you're doing. I mean, that's another thing like I still do. Like, even though I can understand what I'm doing, it's kind of boring to play music that way. So you could just be like, all right, I'm gonna take the shape and just start. Oh, that doesn't sound good. So I know these work, and then No, I don't like that. Maybe I have to go up higher. We just slide stuff around until it sounds right. So there's major shape. So just knowing your major and minor shapes, you can get a lot done with just those two. But yeah, just try like little shapes with down picks. It sounds kind of lame on acoustic. I just didn't want to set my electric up right now. But a lot of it also has to do with the tone you get. So depending on what kind of amp you have, or if you have access to some effects, it will start to sound a lot cooler. Because most indie bands aren't using acoustics, or if they do, they're doing like different style than they do on their electric. I guess one thing I could say about indie music, one reason why I liked a lot of indie bands more, is they tend to stay away from power chords. I mean, some do, but I tend to like it because they tend to use more major and minor shapes. Oops. That kind of stuff kind of seems more indie to me than like that sounds more like teen pop to me, like when you do power chords. So sometimes the line between like teen pop sort of music, which would be more like Blink-182, kind of kick that off, and most of the bands a lot of bands are doing that style just in different ways. Difference between that and like indie music, in my opinion, a lot of times it's almost like the same chords, like you can't avoid the same chord patterns, but it's just kind of doing more of the, like maybe making major 6, like that one song you liked. That sounds way cooler to me than... But it's actually the same, in a way. So, that's about as much as I can say about it. It's kind of ramble, but hope that was helpful. Okay.